guys, my name is Megan and I'll be taking you through your 60-minute Vinyasa flow today. So we're going to begin the practice in a seated position. If that's uncomfortable for you, then feel free to stay on your knees, that's absolutely fine. Bring your hands onto your lap and begin to close your eyes. Start to tune into your breathing, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Try not to change anything about it, just simply observe it and try to notice where you're breathing from. Are you breathing from your belly or your chest? If anybody has any injuries or anything else that may impact their practice today, then that's absolutely fine. Just give me a little wave and I'll come and have a chat with you before we start class today. I may also offer some assists and adjustments today. However, if you'd rather be left alone, again, that's fine. Just give me a little wave and I'll respect your space. Okay. So going nice and tall through the crown of the head, try not to collapse in the front of the body. Start to bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Feeling a stretch down the right hand side of the neck. You can bring your nose to your left shoulder to change the sensation of the stretch. Inhale, coming back to center. As you exhale, we'll take our right ear to our right shoulder. Stretching the left hand side of the neck. Bringing your nose to your right shoulder. Again, to just feel a slightly different stretch. Inhale, coming back to center. Bring your left hand out in front of you, your right hand behind you. Inhale, going through nice and tall, and as you exhale, twist round to the side. On every exhale, see if you can go a little deeper into the stretch. Inhale, coming back to center. As you exhale, bring your left hand out behind you, keep your right hand in front, go nice and tall and twist around to the side. Noticing that twist in the side. Inhale, coming back to center. Start to walk your hands to the top of the mat, coming into a nice forward fold. Try to keep your sitting bones grounded onto the mat. Bring your forehead down onto the mat. You can use a block here to assist you if you'd like. Start to walk your hands back to center, roll onto your knees, uncross your legs and come into a tabletop position. We're just going to stretch out the wrists here. So you can start to rock back and forth and from side to side, just whatever feels good for you. You can bring your fingertips out to the side and then bring them pointing towards you. Coming onto the backs of your hands, so this is quite a deep stretch, so you may want to do one at a time and then just rock back and forth. And when you're ready, coming back into a neutral position, we're going to come into something called a cat-cow. So as you inhale, lift the chest and gaze forward. Exhale, round the spine, tucking your chin into your chest. Inhale, lifting the chest, gazing forward. Exhale, round the spine, tucking your chin into your chest. So do a few more of these in your own time. To strengthen the stretch, really try to push through your hands and arms. Make them nice and active as well. So this will help to activate your abdominals as well before we begin the flow. When you're ready, come back to our neutral position. And then we're going to step back into a high plank, so a bit more abdominal work before we begin the flow. So we're going to hold this for 10 seconds. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to begin some shoulder taps, so we're not done just yet. So we're only going to do 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you exhale, release, coming back onto your knees to that tabletop position. We're going to come into our first downward dog of the practice today. So tuck your toes, push your bottom back to your heels, and push up, your bottom up into a downward facing dog. Start to pedal out the feet here. Your legs may feel a bit tight this morning. So make sure that your hands are about hip, shoulder width apart, and your feet are about hip width apart. Try to ground your heels down onto the mat. You may want to take a slight bend in the knees here if you need to. This can help ease the stretch. That's absolutely fine. Spread all 10 fingers nice and wide and wrap your upper arms towards one another, taking your gaze towards your navel. So you should feel the shoulders starting to work here. And I stretch down the backs of the legs. So we're going to go through our first vinyasas today. So if you're unfamiliar with the vinyasas, feel free to drop down onto your knees and watch me as I demonstrate them. If you're familiar, then feel free to come along with me. So option 1, inhale, ripple forwards to high plank. As you exhale, drop the knees, untuck the toes and lower all the way down to the mat, keeping your elbows tightly tucked into your rib cage. Inhale, lifting the chest, gazing forward, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Exhale, push back and up into a downward facing dog. So that was option 1. Option 2, inhale, ripple forwards to high plank. As you exhale, drop the knees, untuck the toes, lower halfway down. Then as you inhale, move forwards and up, coming onto the backs of your feet, lifting your hips and thighs off the mat, squeezing your bum. Exhale, push back and up into a downward facing dog. So option 3, this one's a bit more challenging. Inhale, ripple forwards to high plank. As you exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale, move forwards and up into an upward facing dog, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Engage the thighs, make them nice and active, and push back and up into a downward facing dog. So we're going to do 3 more of these in our own time, just so you get a bit used to them. And you can mix them up throughout the practice today. Just do whatever feels best for you at the time. Okay. Lovely. And then we'll meet back in a downward facing dog once you've done that. You okay, Amanda?
Just can't remember it.
So, do you want to do option? I do option 1 all the time.
Yeah.
Inhale, ripple forwards to high plank. Yep. As you exhale, drop your knees, untuck your toes and lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, lift the chest. So try to use your lower back muscles. So try not to push into your hands too much. Lift the chest, gaze forward, squeeze your shoulder blades together. As you exhale, push your bum back to your heels, tuck your toes and push back up into a downward facing dog. That's really good. Yeah. I know, that's a really nice downward facing dog. Okay. So we're going to begin the flow now. So inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky, bend the knee to open the hip. Try not to collapse into that left shoulder and take your gaze underneath your right armpit. Flex the floating legs foot. As you exhale, bring your right foot in between both hands at the top of the mat. Steady yourself. And then on your next inhale, rise to a high lunge. Nice. So you may want to take a slight bend in that back knee to maintain a neutral pelvis, because sometimes when our hip flexors are a bit tight, we can come into a bit of an anterior tilt. Lovely. Try to relax the shoulders a little bit. Remember to push through that back heel as well, keep the back leg nice and active. Okay, as you exhale, frame the front foot, step back into high plank and take the vinyasa of your choice. So either lowering all the way or halfway. Inhale, lift the chest, gazing forward. Exhale, push back and up into a downward facing dog. Okay, lift the left leg, bend the knee, opening the hip, taking your gaze over your left armpit. Okay. Exhale, bring your left foot in between both hands at the top of the mat, steadying yourself and then rising to your high lunge. So you may want to bend a little deeper into that front knee to activate it a little bit more. That's really, really good. Professionals. So you exhale, frame the front foot, step back into a high plank and take a vinyasa of your choice, lowering all the way or halfway. Inhale, lifting the chest, squeezing your bum and shoulder blade. Exhale, push back and up into a downward facing dog. Lifting the right leg up to the sky, and then bringing your right foot in between both hands at the top of the mat. Inhale, rise to your high lunge. Drop the back heel, open your arms and hips into warrior two. Don't forget to push through the outer edge of that back foot to activate that back leg and squeeze the glute as well. Relax the shoulders a bit, feel free to shake out the arms a little bit. And back into warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the mat, step back into a high plank, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, lifting the chest, gazing forward. Exhale, push back and up into a downward facing dog. The left side, lift the left leg, flexing the left foot, and then bring your left foot in between both hands at the top of the mat. Rise to your high lunge and inhale. As you exhale, drop the back heel and open up into warrior two. Lovely. See if you can bend a little deeper into that front knee hand. Nice. Cartwheel your hands back down to the mat. Step back into a high plank and then take your vinyasa. So lower all the way or halfway. Move forward, lift the chest. Exhale, push back and up into downward facing dog. Okay, doing really well, guys. Lift the right knee, and then bring your right foot in between both hands to the top of the mat. Inhale, coming to our high lunge. Exhale, drop that back heel, opening up into warrior two. Flip the front palm, reach forward as far as you can. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Resting that back hand on the back of your thigh. Lovely. Just notice that stretch down the right hand side of your body and breathe. Really good, really good. Tuck your tailbone under. Nice, that's really good. Okay, coming back to warrior two. Cartwheel your hands back down to the mat. Step back into a high plank and take a vinyasa of your choice. So lowering all the way or halfway. Inhaling, lift the chest, squeezing the bum. Exhale, push back up into a downward facing dog. Lifting the left leg. Bring your left foot in between both hands at the top of the mat. Rise into a high lunge. Drop the back heel. Open up your arms and hips into warrior two. Flip that front palm, reach forward and reverse your warrior. Nice. Really, really good, guys. Take 2 more breaths here. Just be mindful of your leading leg, that it's not drawing inwards and that it's drawing out to the side. Nice and active. Good, good. Okay, coming back to warrior two. Cartwheel your hands back down to the mat and take your vinyasa. Lowering all the way or halfway down to the mat. Inhaling, lifting the chest. Exhale, push back and up into a downward facing dog. Okay, so we're nearly there, guys. Inhale, lift the right leg. Bring your right foot in between both hands at the top of the mat. Inhale, rising to a high lunge. Reaching through those fingertips Just try to relax the shoulders. Drop the back heel, open up your arms and hips. Nice. Flip the front palm, reach forward as far as you can and reverse your warrior. Okay. Nice. Inhale back to warrior two. So interlace your hands behind you. As you inhale, lift the chest. They open up the chest. As you exhale, bring your right shoulder to your right knee. Coming into humble warrior. And take your gaze in between your legs. So you may feel a stretch in the hips and an opening through the back and the shoulders. So we'll just take one more breath here. And then place your hands, framing your foot at the top of the mat, coming onto the ball of your heel. We're going to go into an easy twist, reaching that right hand up to the sky. Okay. So you've got the option here to come into a modified side plank or a full plank. So if you'd like to do the modified option, drop that back leg and bring it out to the side, and then place your right foot down to the bottom of the mat, lifting your hips nice and high, and take your gaze towards the top of your hand. If you'd like to go into the full plank, drop the back heel, coming onto the side of your back heel, and then lift your right foot on top of your left, lifting your hips up to the sky. So you have the option to lift your top leg if you'd like to challenge yourself, and take your gaze to your right hand. One more breath. As you exhale, bring your hand back to the mat, coming back into a high plank, and you have the option of taking another vinyasa or meeting back in a downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, push back into a downward facing dog. Lifting the left leg, then bring your left foot in between both hands, the top of the mat. Inhale, rise to your high lunge. As you exhale, drop the back heel, opening up into warrior two. Flip the front palm, reach forward as far as you can, and then reverse your warrior. Lovely. Inhale, coming back to warrior two. Interlacing your hands behind you. Inhale, open up the chest. Exhale, bring your left shoulder to your left knee. Feeling a stretch in the hip there. Just try to notice if it feels different. Your left side feels different from the right side. Sometimes we can have imbalances. Nice. So framing the front foot, and then come onto the ball of your back foot and reach your left hand up to the sky, coming into an easy twist. Noticing that twist in the spine, and don't forget to push through your back heel to really activate that back leg. So option of plank variation or full plank to come into today. So again, if you're coming into the variation, drop the back leg and bring your foot out to the side, and then bring your left foot down to the bottom of the mat, pushing your hips up to the sky. Take your gaze towards your hand. Lovely, really, really nice. If you'd like to challenge yourself a bit more, you can lift that leading leg up off the mat, and you should probably feel this in your glutes. 2 more breaths here. You guys have got this. Exhale, bring your hand back onto the mat, stepping back into a high plank, and again, taking a vinyasa of your choice or meeting back in downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting the chest, squeezing those shoulder blades. Exhale, push back and up in a downward facing dog. Okay, nice guys. Okay, so if you drop to your knees, we're going to come into a well-deserved child pose. So that's the end of the flow. Well done. Before we move into a bit of standing and balancing, so you can take a drink if you need to, and then once you're finished, just kind of walk your hands. You can keep your knees together or hip width apart. Bring your big toes to touch if that's comfortable, and then come into a nice child pose. We'll try to regulate our breathing. So when you're ready, I'm going to meet in all fours. You can stay in child's pose if you wish, that's absolutely fine. Tuck your toes and then push your bottom up to the sky, meeting in a downward facing dog. Okay. So take a slight bend in the knees, meaning you can either walk or or jump forwards to the top of your mat. Okay. Coming into a forward fold here. So relax the head. Allow it to feel nice and heavy. Nice. Engage the thighs and try to lift your sitting bones up to the sky. You can take a slight bend in the knees here if you need to and bring your hands onto the mat. That's absolutely fine. Okay, as you inhale, come up onto your fingertips or bring your hands to your shins. Gaze forward, lifting the chest, coming into half forwards fold. Exhale, allow yourself to fold forwards and down. You can shake your head out a little bit here. Yes, no. And really try to bring more of your weight into your toes, so the top parts of your feet. That'll challenge your balance. Okay. Slowly roll up to standing. Take your time. Keeping your eyes closed if you can. Then bring your hands by your sides, palms open, coming into Tadasana. Okay. So we're going to come into a back bend here. So make sure your feet are about hip width apart. And then bring your hands onto your lower back, drawing your arms and shoulders behind you. Okay. You can take a slight bend in the knees here because it can help to scoot the hips forward. So as you inhale, lift the chest and then bend backwards. Get to a point that feels enough and stop there. Hold and breathe. If your neck feels okay, you can tilt your head back. If not, then you can keep your chin tucked into your chest. That's absolutely fine. Remember to just try and do what's right for you. Inhale, slowly coming back up to standing. Bringing your hands on your hips and folding forwards and down. This time, we're going to take hold of our big toe with our middle and index finger and our thumb. So we inhale, lift the chest, gaze forward. So exhale, fold forwards and down. Imagine that you're trying to lift your toes off the mat. Really want some activation in the arms here. Nice. Inhale, lifting the chest, gazing forward. Exhale, folding forwards and down. So bringing your hands out in front of you, I'm going to step back into a high plank and then take a vinyasa of our choice, flooring all the way or halfway. Inhale, lifting the chest, gazing forward, squeezing that bum and shoulder blades. Exhale, back and up into a downward facing dog. Okay, so this time we're going to walk our hands towards us. So we're going to aim to come up to standing at the back of our mat. And then slowly, slowly roll up. Take your time, allowing your head to come last. Okay. So we're going to come into some balancing. We're nearly there, guys. You're doing great. Okay. So leading with your right leg, bring your right foot into the center of your mat. Bring your hands together at heart center and then lift your left leg off the mat, coming into warrior 3. Oops. It's fine. You're allowed to wiggle. Just embrace the wiggles. So try to make sure that your hips are square to the mat, as your left hip might have a tendency to roll open. Nice. Really good, Amanda. Really good. Well done, Amanda. See if you can lift that back leg a little bit higher, flexing the foot. Okay. As you exhale, bring both hands onto the mat, coming into a standing split. Okay. And you can take a bend in the standing leg, that's absolutely fine. And see if you can lift that back leg a little bit higher. Nice. So you should feel the legs and the glutes really working here. Okay, and just breathe through it. Exhale, bring your left foot to meet your right and shake your legs out a little bit. And then slowly come up to standing. Well done. So we're going to step back to the mat and do the same but on the other side. Okay. So stepping forward with your left foot, bringing your hands together and lifting your back leg off the mat. So try to find a focus point here that can help with balancing poses. Ideally something that doesn't move. Nice. And then you can take a few variations with your hands here. You can keep them together in prayer at your heart center, or if you'd like a little bit of a challenge, you can bring them out in front of you, or you can bring them behind you. So just play around with that and breathe. Nice. So I'm going to try to bring your left hip down. Well, yeah, that's really good. Okay, so you exhale, bring your hands back onto the mat, coming into a standing split. Foot of your standing leg. That's nice. Hand, see if you can lift that back leg a little bit higher. You've got this. So your hips rolled open there actually. There we go. Okay, bring your left foot to meet your right. And then from here, we're going to just drop our bottoms down onto the mat. Stretching both legs out in front of us. Take both hands out in front of you and then slowly roll all the way down to mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so we're going to come into a hip opener here. So draw your right knee into your chest, keeping both feet flexed. And as you exhale, draw your right knee towards your right shoulder. Notice how that feels. And then using your left hand, draw your right knee across the opposite side of your body, coming into a twist. Option to extend your right hand. Noticing that stretch in the glutes and the opening of the chest. Inhale, and back to center. Giving that right knee another squeeze and then releasing it down to the mat. So draw your left knee into your chest and then draw your left knee towards your left shoulder. Using your right hand, draw your knee across to the opposite side of the mat. Side feel different from the other side?
Yeah.
Really good. Okay. Inhale, coming back to center, giving that left knee another tight squeeze, and then releasing down onto the mat. Nice. Okay. So bending both knees. We're going to come into a bridge pose. So try and get your fingertips to just touch your heels here. Okay. And as you inhale, start to lift your hips off the mat, squeezing your glutes to help them lift. Nice. Just start to watch the rise and fall of your belly as you breathe in and out. Option to interlace your hands underneath, shuffle your shoulders in slightly to help lift your hips even higher. Really activate your legs. Try to push through your big toe. Really good. Okay. As you exhale, slowly release down to the mat, starting with your upper, middle, and then lower back. Draw your knees into your chest, and then just rock back and forth, massaging the spine, and then we'll come to find balance. Nice. Try to see if you can keep your feet lifted off the mat. And then bring your arms out in front of you, keeping both feet flexed. Nice, okay. So we're going to slowly lower halfway down to the mat, extending your knees. Exhale, bring it back in. So we'll do 2 more of these. Slowly lower. Done. Exhale, bring it back in. This time, smile. And bring it back in. Crossing your legs, bringing your hands onto the mat, roll onto your knees, uncross your legs, and then step back into a high plank and lower all the way down to the mat. Going to come into a few back bends. So bringing your forearms out in front of you. We're going to come into Sphinx pose. Okay. So really press your hands and forearms into the mat and imagine that they're glued to the mat, but you're drawing them towards your body to really feel an activation in the arms here. Try to relax the shoulders and then squeeze the shoulder blades together. Engage the glutes and the thighs here. You can lift the thighs off the mat if you want. Okay. So bringing your right cheek onto the mat and your hands by your side. We'll just take a few breaths here. And then when you're ready, bring your forehead onto the mat. Lift your hands off the mat. And then slowly start to peel your head off and your thighs. Come into locust pose. So this really helps to strengthen the lower back. 2 more breaths. You got this. Exhale, release. Bring your left cheek onto the mat. Make sure the palm of your hands are facing down. When you're ready, coming onto your forehead, as you inhale, start to lift your head, chest, arms and legs off the mat. Breathe. Well done. That was really good, Amanda. You think you're a natural. Okay. Exhale, release. Bring your right cheek onto the mat. You can shake your hips out a little bit here. Feel a sense of release. And then bring your hands out in front of you. Bring your hands to your shoulders and then push back up into an all fours position. And then swivel your legs right, coming to sit on your bottom and stretch both legs out in front of you. So we're nearing the end of our practice now. Okay, as you inhale, reach both arms up to the sky as far as you can. As you exhale, fold forward and down, grabbing your feet if you can. You can take a slight bend in the knees here, but you should feel a nice stretch down the backs of the legs. You can use a strap here to assist you if you'd like. Amanda, would you like to use the strap? Sure, what you do? Just put it around the backs of your feet. Like that. Help. Squeeze the hands. Inhale. Draw forward. Help to get the stretch. Try to draw your belly towards your knees rather than the forehead. Well, good. Well done. Okay, and release. Coming back up to a neutral sitting position. Now we're going to bring the sole of our right foot to the inside of our left thigh, lifting through our hands, and then as you exhale, fold forwards and down. Lovely. And breathe. I know this is your favourite stretch, Hannah. Exhale, release. Switching legs. So bringing the sole of your left foot into your right thigh. Inhale, reaching your hands up to the sky. Exhale, folding forwards and down. Taking your gaze towards your foot. Exhale. exhale, release. Extending both legs. Bring both hands out in front of you and then slowly lower down into Shavasana. Everyone's favourite. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. So spread your legs to about mat width apart. And have your hands by your sides, palms facing upwards. Slightly tuck your chin into your chest to lengthen the neck a little bit. And close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. And just take this time for you. When you're ready, start to bring your awareness back to the mat. You can do this by tuning into any sounds around you, for example the cars driving past, or starting to take some movement, wriggling your hands and feet. And then slowly roll onto the right hand side of your body. And then when you're ready, come up and we'll meet in a seated position. With our eyes closed if you can. And then to seal the end of our practice today, we'll take one big breath together. So inhale through the nose. As you exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. Bring your hands together at heart center. Thank you for practicing with me today, guys.